So now we're getting deep into this event. Very good evening and welcome back. This is Beard Productions streaming live from Blackpool. This is the last 16 of the main event of the World Rules Pool Tour, Event 1 from the Grand Hotel, North Shore, Blackpool. Stevie Dempsey versus Tom Cousins. And I'm really interested to see how this game's going to go. And the reason for that is that so far, Tom, I mean, we saw him yesterday when he blew Jimmy Croxton off the table. And since then, he just seems to have struggled a little bit. He was, Dan Chanter said he should have beaten him. And in his last round game against Wade Morley, he was 6-3 behind and has come back to win it. He just seems to be struggling a little bit to find his rhythm. And quite often with Tom, when I've seen him in events before, when he's struggled to find his rhythm, he does seem to fade out, where other players, they struggle to find their rhythm and then suddenly they hit it and they're away. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Stevie Dempsey is a formidable opponent. We've seen him play today already in the challenge against Dylan Leary earlier. A game that was a little bit bogged down in tactics, but I don't expect that to happen again. Tom will want to keep this open. So the Challenge Tour, sorry, I keep calling it the Challenge Tour. It's the Jason Owen Open. It used to be called the Challenge Tour. It's now the Open. That's still ongoing. The race is to 4. I half expected to see the Declan Brennan game played on this table, but I think the reason they haven't chosen that is because Declan is actually playing a Challenge Tour game against Govey Gill across in this room actually on table number 5. So that could have influenced this as a choice of game. I only say that because we haven't seen Declan on the stream table, and I would imagine the organisers would be keen to get him on. He's obviously a draw. Again, as we always ask, if you would be so kind to like and share this stream. Oh, just a little bit lucky there. Just a little bit lucky. Cue ball in off. In fact, screwed it straight in off, and then the white ball goes in as well, so he gets a re-rack. Pretty much the way those balls split would have been obviously not loss of frame, but it would have been lost frame. I think Stevie was clearing up from there with ball in hand. yeah, if you can like and share this stream across social media, it would be greatly appreciated. It's all we really ask from you. We'll do the hard work if you could just like and share for us. Look at that. Look at the shake of the head and the smile. He's like, you're so lucky. The smile says that he's jovial, but inside he's seething. And just for the double whammy, Tom just splits them wide open and leaves a load of droppers. Just to rub a bit of salt into the wound. I don't know how many times these guys would have played each other. I don't know what exposure they would have had to each other. I don't think it's possible to overemphasize how annoying that must be to Stephen Dempsey, because it was just one of those moments where if the black ball doesn't go in, then he gets a really good chance of going 2-0 and then a race to 7. How important is that? And it compounds the issue when your opponent frustratingly splits them wide open and then dishes to make it one apiece. Great standards so far though. 1 frame each. Philip saying it's a bit early in the match to be showing emotion like that, but yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but it is so frustrating. He's really going to be annoyed about that because it was such a great chance to go 2-0. Those things get in your head, don't they? Love that camera shot, by the way. Just gradually zooming in on the table as the player lines up to break. This is another huge break. But a layout not without problems. Obviously, the stray yellow in bulk is going to cause a problem, and the black also tied up. He's just looking now at whether he can find an angle through that gap. If he has, it would be ideal. So if he can land, I mean, he could put the one in the middle now and land in that gap and just leave a little shot where he can pop the yellow and just promote the black. Yeah, that's what he's looking at. He also has the option to put the one to middle and send the cue ball careening into that little cluster, but then he's relying on luck. Taking his time thinking about this, and you can understand why. He needs to address the problem at the top of the table, but obviously the thing is with yellows, they don't really connect either. Nothing connects with that one at the top of the table, and at the same time he needs to get the white ball at some point back down to this end of the table for the other yellow, so he's decided to go reds. I think you could have made a case for either, but I guess he's just thinking that he just needs one. The reds do connect slightly better. He needs to leave an angle. It's just that one developing shot. I think the argument against reds would be just thinking a few shots ahead is when you do knock, when you do promote the red that's next to the black, it can push the black over towards that pocket and then block the path to the other red. And I think that would have been one of his concerns. All the eggs in one basket. Really good effort, and he's given himself a shot. Tiny, I mean, that could have gone anywhere really, but tiny bit fortunate that the yellow made contact, the cue ball made contact with that yellow, and it's kind of held it in a position where it does leave him a shot, but he's going to have to, he can't hold for the black, so he's going to have to run into it, try and screw across into it, push it towards the pocket, or just bump up behind it, knock it down over the middle, but he's forgotten to pot. The crucial part. Forgot to pot the red. He was so intent on making sure the connection was right with the black. A simple little snooker, but actually really tough to get out of. There's no escape down table. And there's, yeah, those yellows loomed large. Clever from Tom, and he saw it, he spotted it immediately. And now he can just use this first shot as kind of a free shot to bump the yellow along the rail. Or, yeah, pot first and then at some point bump that one out of the top of the table. Simple clearance now. I said at the top of the show that it was going to be interesting to see how Tom plays in this game, because he, probably by his own admission, hasn't played his best in his last couple of matches, but the fact that he's in the last 16 and he's not playing his best, if he can click, then, I mean, he's already the favourite with the bookie at 5-2, but what that does is offer value on other players. So the last 16 is in full swing. Well, 4 of the matches are in full swing. I think the other matches somebody's involved in each one. Oh, they're not actually due to start until 5:45, so they were waiting for the tables to come free from the Open event. Neil Toms is in the last 16. He's currently 2-1 up against Brett Wild. Sean Chipperfield, Adam Davis, 2 frames each. Ben Clark 2-0 against Sean Story. And this is the 4th game. If anyone's familiar with any of my commentary previously, I always try and, let's say, not rock the boat too much. I won't call it vanilla, but I just try to not rock the boat, because it's easy to sometimes upset people, and then you walk out in the hallway and you've got to meet those people. I did it once. I think I said that Mark Boyle was a little bit lucky in one of his games, and his wife got hold of me in the venue afterwards and said, "What do you mean he got lucky?" and had a bit of a rant at me. Bless her. Took it on the chin, but I made the mistake earlier of mistaking Carl Sutton for Jimmy Croxton. If anyone was actually watching at the time, Carl Sutton was watching one of the games, and I called him Jimmy Croxton, apparently for the 2nd time this week. And Jimmy just came over to me when I was sat in the other bar and leant over my shoulder, said, "Can you stop calling me Jimmy Croxton?" He's properly offended by it. He said, "I don't look anything like him." Well, you do, mate. Oh dear. I just want all his mates to start calling him Jimmy Croxton now, just to annoy him. I think I've started something off there. I'm really sorry, Carl. No, I'm not, actually. Not sorry at all. Paul's there. No, you're not. No, you're right. Hey, after 6 or 7 hours commentary in a row, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Just come out with any old nonsense. You just get delirious after a while. Brilliant. It doesn't help that someone's just given me about the strongest cup of coffee I've ever drunk in my life, I think. Jeepers. You could strip paint with that. Shot. He's going to have to put out another one, though. This is a proper test of queuing. If anyone's up to it, it should be this man. Just rely on your backswing. Play through it. Beautiful. As always, thank you to our sponsors. These clubs make these events possible, and it's really good to see all these local regional clubs getting behind this event. You'll see the posters around the arena. We'll probably get a shot of them as the evening goes on. You can see they're on the left dishes. Spencer's on the right. And there's one for Bullets Bar, Early Bell, Spots and Stripes in London. And the irony that Stevie finds, shaking his head, the irony that he finds that pocket, that exact same pocket that Tom did with the cue ball, but doesn't have the same luck with the black. Definitely going to be ruining his luck at the moment. I feel that he's just not getting the run of the ball. But at the same time, it was a mistake. It wasn't kicked in. It was directly in off the pack, and you just can't give someone of Tom Cousins' quality these chances. He just hoovers them up. He's going to play the plant to middle. One of those that just needs a tiny bit of care. It's one of those that, as a club player, they can go wrong. You just end up just glancing the red a little too thin, and it hides itself behind the black. No such drama for Tom. He's got another one here where the red is set above the pocket. So I think if it was on the pocket, he'd take the plant. But because it's above, with the yellow at the top of the table, he's going to take no such chance. Perfect. Well, the cue ball on and off the side cushion to leave a simple black and take a 3-frame lead at 4 frames to 1. You've got to say, even though Tom has struggled against a couple of opponents, and he's had a couple of hill games, the times that we've seen him on the mainstream this weekend, he's been pretty sublime. Neil Toms from 2-1 up is currently 4-2 down against Brett Wild. Any more balls want to go in? All trying to racing towards that top right pocket. And reds are a dream. Black ball. The only real difficulty. And I would say that if you can pot the one nearest the black spot and leave an angle on the other red to the left of it, he'll be looking to move that black. I say the way this pattern is, you don't always want to move the black with your last shot, but actually it's the most logical path to clear these 3 balls at the top of the table. And he would like to use that ball to the left to move the black. You don't want to try and move it from above. This is just turning into a tricky clearance. I think he may have resigned himself to doubling the black. I don't think there's any option to move it now. As I say, you can't use the ball near the bulk line to move it because of the yellows below. So, yeah, I think he's just going to resign himself to taking that black on as a double. Or you could just do that. Sometimes it's just not worth trying to call a shot. Red off the yellow, which gave him the angle to move the black out. He's still not moved it properly. It might be double-double. The black will obviously go to that left centre, but you need to get right below it, and there's a very circuitous route to get down there, so you might just have to play double-double. This is tricky. he got below it as well. But now, a very good chance for Stevie to pull back within 2. Sorry to sound like a broken record, but I would ask again if you'd be so kind to like and share the stream. If there is no share button, just copy the link, post it into your profile. I'm sure that you've all got friends on your timeline who enjoy watching pool. Well, we're in the last 16 now of the main event, so things are going to start warming up now. We're going to have some great games on stream. This competition will be played to a climax tonight. The final due to be played around about 10:30 this evening, so stick with and tell your friends all about it. Just not turned up yet. He will be really annoyed by that. And you just can't miss those. Just no way back if you're missing shots like that. Hope you're enjoying the coverage today. We are streaming across YouTube and Facebook. We've had a bit of everything. A bit of the Jason Owen Open, a bit of the ladies event, and now we're going to watch this to a conclusion. The game that I thought was going to be on the stream instead of this one, they are actually holding it back. So that will be the next game on here, and you're going to want to watch it. Because it's Declan Brennan versus Neil Stevie Dempsey doing exactly what he needs to do, and just take them out when they're there and hope for chances. So that just caught his attention, just a little chalk mark or something on the cushion. It was just putting him off, so just resets, did the right thing. Something not quite right with the tip. Maybe just a little miscue, as dink the side of the cue perhaps, and it's in his eye line. Five frames to two. Tom Cousins will break in the eighth. Both players have flirted with that top left pocket with the cue ball. But that one is dry. So these are the chances that Stevie was looking for. As I say, just needs to take them out when he gets them. Really taking his time over this clearance, and the reason for it is just that ball on the closest to the left-hand side rail. It's just trying to work out the best path. Just taking his time to work out the pattern. All of these balls were there, but it was they're kind of blocking each other to pockets. It was just a little bit awkward clearance. And that yellow just slightly closer to the left-hand rail than's comfortable to take it to the middle. Seems reluctant to play it to middle. And still a awkward little angle. Nasty, these we've seen on a number of occasions today. They're just catching that near jaw. You are just playing it across the nap, so they do tend to just pull in a little. Players have been overcompensating it. Yeah, played it well. Played it well. I don't think I was over dramatising that one. They are very awkward little shots. They look simple enough on camera. Take this chance again. He'll easily put that to the back of his mind, but it will frustrate him again because they opened wide. It was a good break, connected it well. Black's gone again. And there you go. Isn't that absolutely typical of what happens? Look at him, he's absolutely fuming. And you just can't blame him. What's he done wrong? He's broken them beautifully. The black's gone in. He's had to reset them and timed it again and gone in off. That is just torturous. Poker gods tormenting you. And a huge frame as well, because he's just won the last couple and making a charge. 5-4 there would have been the pressure firmly back on Tom. Mother and daughter sat over there, both love their pool. That's Suzanne Randall. I think it's Carrie. I think the daughter's Carrie. And the other sister's here as well. Of course, John McAllister's other half, Danielle. She's, I think she's playing. Pretty sure she's playing in the ladies' event. Whole family love their pool. So unlucky by Stevie. So unlucky. So now these 3 games. The one that's disappeared is the Neil Toms game. So Neil was behind in that one, and I can tell you that Brent Wilds won that one 7-3. Sean Chipperfield is leading Adam Davis 5-4. Ben Clark is having a great weekend, and he's mates with Sean Story, and he's beating Sean 3-2. Just started over on table 3, which is a couple tables down from this one. Gareth Hibbert against Andy Barker. Jake Dylan Newlove just got underway against Lack Badham. Yeah, huge break. Absolutely huge. Tom, just such a great breaker. Sledgehammer. Didn't want that kiss, just gone slightly out of position. Well, didn't expect that one. And Steve Dempsey lives to fight another day. You can see a few people clamoring to see what's going on. In the immediate foreground, you saw Jake Dylan Newlove cross on the next table to this, on table 2. Neil Raybone was over there as well, watching on with interest. He's still in the draw. He's next on the stream table. In the red shirt there is Lack Badham, who's playing Jake Dylan Newlove on that table. And I think that might be mistaken. Couldn't quite see properly. I think it might have been Hitan Patel sat next to him, watching on. Steve has fallen out of position. And that has caused him to miss. Not left much. I wonder if the red on the side rail, does it double? It's not natural. I wonder if you can... There's the yellow in the way. I think the yellow's probably in the way. it might squeeze, but he'd have to punch it and straighten it up. I don't see what else he's got, to be honest. I think that... running for cover. Tried a safety. Yeah, he didn't have anything on. Stevie, in missing that ball, just didn't leave anything. And it was a very tough safety. And there's still an awkward situation. The three balls don't link with each other. And it's how you get on the black. I think that's about as good as you could have got. And I've got some company in the commentary box. Mark's back with us. It's Mark Shepherd. How you doing?
Very good. This looks to be a good comeback. Was it 5-1? I saw the score when I was walking past them.
Yeah. And in all honesty, it should have gone. Well, I think it was the last frame. I'm getting confused now. I'm engrossed in the game, but I think earlier in the match, Tom went in off with the white, and the black went in as well, and Tom broke dished with the reset. That was like very early in the match, and you could see Stevie sort of shaking his head. I think it was the second frame. Steve would have had a great chance to go 2-0, and you could see him shaking his head. And then later, well, in fact, just a moment ago, Stevie went in off. Of course, black stayed up, and then off of the reset. Sorry, Stevie potted the black off the break, off of the reset. He's gone in off. So, and then Tom's cleared up from that. So it's
yeah, one of those ones you feel like it's got away from you even if you haven't done much. It's been a tough weekend though for Tom, hasn't it? He's had a few tough matches.
Yeah.
So 6-4. First to 7, of course, these last 16 matches still.
Yeah.
Some good games there. The battle of the two former world champions, Sean Chipperfield 6-4 up against Adam Davis.
Yeah, and Adam's been playing really well.
Yeah, when we saw him on the stream last night, he was playing a really steady game.
He was today as well. Shane Thompson came off the table and said, if he keeps breaking like that, he can't lose. He just monster breaks.
Speaking of which, that's a pretty solid hit from Stevie.
Yeah. I was saying, do you think these two would have crossed swords much in the past?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess sort of the world's and international events.
Yeah.
Steve's played for Ireland for a long time and Tom for Wales. Probably not so much on the tour. I think they'll both be pretty aware. I mean, obviously Tom's reputation goes before him, but Steve's won the European Championships, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah, I think he recently, was it just last season, there was a amateur event put on, I think. Was it Ross McInnes put on an event with a 10k prize pool, and Stevie won that one. That would have probably just been before COVID hit, so I say last year, kind of right off last year, it was probably the year before. It was a big prize pool.
I feel like we said this about quite a few people this weekend, but he's another one that's sort of perhaps slightly underrated, like big name player that wins a lot, but again, he's probably not somebody you're putting in your top 5, top 10 necessarily.
Fairly big money match player as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, quite evenly balanced this match. I guess you'd have had Tom as a slight favourite. The scoreline's probably about what you would have predicted, but it could certainly go either way.
Yeah, still could.
Yeah, I mean, this is very important. If he can get it back to 6-5, then he's got Tom under some serious pressure. Well, I don't think Tom's a player that worries that much. He's not somebody to sort of overthink a game. Like, he just plays the balls in front of him, so I'm not sure he'll play that differently if he's got his opponent coming up close behind him from if he's a long way ahead. Giving this plenty of thought. It's not a bad position, but see the red slightly tied up on the left-hand side. I guess he doesn't really care how he wins the frame as long as he wins it, but ideally he would like to get it done quickly, keep the pressure up while Tom's sitting in his chair. Ooh,
no.
Just narrow. That's a big double there. If he got that ball out of the way, it was all looking pretty open, whereas now yellow's in a pretty good position for Tom. A slightly less important situation, he might just have gone for it there, but obviously no point going for something unnecessary with those two balls tied up.
Yeah. That helps the cause. It just makes it awkward again. Gives Tom something else to think about.
Yeah, that's the trouble. You can sometimes play a conservative shot thinking you don't want to go for a silly finish, but actually then the table's cluttered up in 2 more places than when he was last at it. Looking to play a safety shot there, but also the other important thing was just to get those 2 yellows apart.
Yeah, and it's kind of saying to Steve, you're going to have to go at those two reds that tying up his yellows. So it's a clever little shot. The only thing he's really given him to go at is going to help Tom more than it is Steve. And you can see the little tap on the table to say, clever. He really won't want to split those balls, will he?
No, it's very hard because he's going to obviously have to move the front one, and once he moves the front one, I think that yellow is pretty accessible, even if he definitely doesn't want to split them both out, but it may be hard to avoid.
Just wonder whether he can brush off the right side and, you know, kind of a dead weight shot just to take the cue ball to cushion. No, not what was planned at all. And the one ball that he really wanted to leave tied up, he's left it for Tom into the middle. You could see him muttering to himself, the frustration apparent.
Yeah, for a second it looked like that was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Red blocked the top right pocket and then it opened up to the middle. So the patience has paid off for Tom. All 6 of the yellows open now.
Centre bag. No drama.
No drama, but he'll be relieved to get this one done.
Yeah.
Looked like he could win it pretty easily. 6-4 is now not quite so comfortable. I think it'll also be going through his head that he's had a few, so at least 1 7-6 and some other close ones.
Yeah, a couple of deciders he's had so far.
But even if you win them,
6-3 down in against Wade Morley, came back to win 7-6.
I mean, at one level it's good because it gives you confidence that you can get it done, but the other level it just takes it out of you. It's a long enough day without playing 13 frames in each one.
Yeah. There's a lot of pull on the Saturday, isn't there, with the challenge games as well. I don't know how many potential frames you could be playing in a day if you do get to the final, but it's way up there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one of the odd things about knockout tournaments, because for most of the field there isn't that much pull. You play a couple of matches and 3/4 of the field's out after the first 2 matches. But if you go
deep in both events, then you could be playing, I don't know what it is. I mean, they played first thing this morning, then probably 3 rounds of the challenge, and then obviously last 16, last 8 quarters, semis, semis and the final. So
yeah, and actually that's one thing that's changed this year over previous years, because previously the top players were playing in a kind of Premier League of more of a sort of league format where you play a couple of matches each tournament, each event, whereas now you can potentially play the whole way through in 2 knockout tournaments.
Yeah.
Pretty long day. Still, you obviously come with the intention of making it to the end, so you can hardly complain.
Just be playing this to come inside the black and around.
Yeah, the choice of pockets there, but gone with the safe option of giving himself a shot.
And it's Tom Cousins who progresses through to the quarter-final. And just looking at the draw, he's going to play the winner of Sean Story and Ben Clark. Sean Story currently 5-3 up in that match. He's made a comeback there because he was behind. And talking of comebacks, Adam Davies is now 6 each with Sean Chipperfield. Across on table 2, you can see Neil Raybone watching, and that is Jake Dillon Newlove against Lack Badham. And the other game in progress at the moment is Gareth Hibbert playing Andy Barker, and that's the next table along on table 3. So we'll just set the camera across there for your interest. But don't forget, there's Gareth Hibbert at the table on table 3. Don't forget, next game up is a big one. It's the last 16 game between Declan Brennan and Neil Raybone. So stick around for that one. We're going to reset the stream. We'll be back as soon as they're ready. It's not going to be long, probably 10 or 15 minutes. Thanks, Mark. We'll see you again for that next game. See you soon.